Okay. Hi guys. Welcome back to It Is What It Is with Van. And unfortunately this week I am Van. Okay. I want to start this episode off by saying right now on September 27th, when I'm recording this, I am supposed to still be on a vacation with the man that I've been dating for 3 months, over 3 months, I don't know, since June. And I'm clearly not. I am clearly back home and he is still on the vacation. So I'm just going to preface this episode by saying clearly something went bad. Clearly shit hit the fan. And clearly I am not okay. We are recording this episode in our pajamas with no makeup on, and I want to be real and honest and raw and make my intentions about this video very clear. I have said it. You can go back and listen to my very first episode. This podcast has always been, and for as long as I do it, will always be about my life, about my experiences, about the hardships that are our 20s, about love, falling in love, and falling out of love. And you've heard my story times before. I know we're very new into this podcast, but you can go back on my old ones of my old podcast I used to have, 1-800-TELL-US-SIS. This has always been my thing. Telling you my life, being transparent, and hoping that I can help make someone else not feel so alone. And I feel like this story that I'm about to tell you and the things that I have gone through are just that. But I'm also very well aware, especially after seeing people's true colors, that people like to spin this kind of situation, or that they will spin this narrative. So I want to make it so fucking clear that this podcast episode, that is honestly probably going to be a 2-parter because there is so much to unpack to really tell the story. I need to tell you it from the beginning. But this is not a revenge episode. This is not I'm hurt, so I'm going to hurt people episode. This is me not okay. This is me coming from a place of, it's time to tell you guys a fucking crazy story that is my life. My life is a movie, and not a movie I necessarily love right now. That is what this podcast is. That is what this episode is. And it's very, very fitting for all the things that I stand for, of being honest and transparent and showing the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I was really hoping to come back from this trip and share a beautiful moment and memory with you guys. I know that my current love life I had kept secret. We had talked a lot about my past or things that have just unfolded, and that's kind of how I like to do it. I don't like to speak about things until they are done with and keep some of my life private. But I know in other episodes I'd kind of put little hints that like I met someone and this and that. And so now we will get into it. Into the story time, into what I have not been telling you guys about what had been going on in my life. I think it's very funny to reflect on how I think my second episode or something, I was talking about how I'm single. I had recorded that episode before I went to Italy, and I was like, I'm going to Italy, so even if I meet someone there, it doesn't matter because they live in Italy and I live in LA, and I'm just going to be single and happy and fuck men. And I am here to tell you guys that episode that was recorded before I met this man, but exactly just that happened. I met someone when once again I wasn't looking. I didn't think anything of it because why would I? He lives in Italy. And I am embarrassed to say that I once again fell for someone's lies. And it's kind of the craziest fucking story and journey I've ever been on. I know we came from an episode where I told you I got played and this and that. Well, let me just tell you, this story makes that guy look like a saint. I guess let's just fucking get into it. Yeah? Okay, guys. I really hope, I also want to say that this episode truly does help someone else. And I'm going to try really hard not to cry in this episode, and not because it's embarrassing to show emotion and not because I feel ashamed, but because I want to try and stay in a healthy mindset, and I don't want to let myself spiral, and I want to just get through this episode and telling you guys this story as real but as comprehensible as possible. Also know that this is very fresh. This is me recording this episode 2 days after everything has happened. That is to do with the fact that I do want to record this when I am in it when I'm going through it because I want to show you my real and raw emotion. It's also because we have a deadline. This episode needs to go out in 3 days. So, and I already didn't have an episode go out this past week because I was with this man and I wanted to enjoy this moment. I did pre-record an episode, but it is all about green flags and men. And quite honestly, that kind of feels like the most dishonest and last thing I want to post right now. So here we are. I am recording this. I am raw. I am real, and I hope at the very least that you guys can appreciate and respect that. And I hope if this does not bring me clarity or closure, that it at least can help someone else not feel so alone. Because even though I know I'm not alone in this situation, even though I've been cheated on and heartbroken and all the things before, this one just feels so targeted and specific. I know if I feel alone in this, then many other girls do, girls, guys, whoever, many other people feel alone in situations like this as well. So it is what it is. Like I've always said, here's to showing the good, the bad, and the ugly, and let's get into it. Okay, guys, like I said, the main part of this story is obviously the ending. That is where the drama is. That is where the tea is. That is where the clickbait is. But that is not the full thing. And the only way to get the full gist, just like I do all my story times and just like I did my other story time of when I got played constant in my life, I kind of got to take you from the beginning. And like I already said, this is going to be a 2-parter. This episode will probably be just filling you guys in on all that has led up. And then the second episode will probably be where everything burned in flames. So if you just want that part 2. Let's start from the beginning. Okay. It was June. I had this podcast. As you all know, I went on a trip to Italy that I also said was the best trip of my life. And like I also said, during that trip, I met someone that changed my life. And now we know changed my life for the worse, but not the better. But that is the man that this story will be about. We will obviously call him Italian Man. That is who he is. He has many nicknames, and unfortunately many bad ones now. But I went on this trip. I had no intentions of meeting anyone. Not seriously anyways. I was with my girlfriends. We were all single. We still are all single. And we went on this and we were excited. And I was just happy. I had just been played a couple months prior. I had just got all these other things that had happened to me. And I was just excited to be single, to be happy, to be left the fuck alone, and to enjoy my trip. I go on my trip. I download Hinge. And you're thinking, Savannah, why the fuck would you download Hinge? I downloaded Hinge because I wanted free activities, okay? And I was very clear about that on my Hinge. It said right there in a prompt, like, looking to have my bucket list checked off. Perfect. Because the girls and I, we were very last minute. We didn't even have all our hotels booked while we were on the trip. So you think we had time to plan excursions? No. Okay, so I have Hinge. I'm not thinking anything of it. This is my first time having Hinge since my breakup. I was in a 2-year relationship, la-di-da-di-da. I'm on it, whatever. I'm matching with guys. Nothing, people are like, oh, I have a yacht. I have a this. Who cares? Let's get to the point. I meet Italian Man. Matches with me, asks what we want to do, asks what's on my bucket list. One thing leads to another. We talk for a couple days. He plans the whole thing for me. He asks how many friends I have. He'll bring the same amount of friends. Gets us has a boat, plans it all. Tells us which train to take at what time, sends me the link, is going to pick us up from the train station. This is all sounding very beautiful, right? Like it's rom-com summer. I'm all about it. I see his profile. He's cute. I'm attracted to him. But I'm also like, okay, like the girls were like, no, let's go. So I'm like, okay, fine, let's go. And it is so funny now to look back and think about the little moments in our life that change the trajectory of everything. You know what I mean? Even the day of that trip, I had actually felt really, really sick, and the girls went out. I ended up going back to the hotel and staying and sleeping, and it was this whole thing. And they're like, we should cancel. You don't feel good. We shouldn't go on a boat. We were also are we going to get killed? It's just the game that we play that is life. We don't know. And I was like, no, I gave this man my word. I feel so bad. He's planned a whole thing. He's excited. He was telling me how I was so beautiful and he was so excited to meet me and all these sweet things. And I was like, no, we need to go. I wish I had diarrhea and I just didn't go. That would have helped me. But alas, we have a story time now. We go on the boat. He picks us up from the train station. He is nothing but amazing. so sweet, so fun, so kind. We instantly felt like, okay, we can trust this man. We're safe. We're not going to die on a boat. We go, his friends also sweet. I'm sure you can find the pictures on my page of me with my girlfriends on a boat. Like, it was a blast. And to this day, it is still my favorite memory from Italy. Not because of him, but because, and like my good friend said that was on the trip, she was like, it just felt like summer. It felt like what you picture when you think of Italy. And it was just so beautiful. We go on a boat, we jump in the ocean, they brought snacks and wine, there's music, and it is just fun. We are just having fun. Italian man is all over me, so about me. Like, my girlfriends were like, oh my god, this guy is in love with you, like, holy shit. Like, arm around me, kissing me on the boat. Like, obviously within time and hours, we were with them for like 8 hours, and like dancing with me, taking pictures with me. Like, just, we were sitting there getting to know each other, talking. I have like the cutest pictures that my friends would sneak of us, of like his arms around me and us just like staring into each other's eyes and smiling and being so happy and so content. Sunset, like, it could not have been more of a picture perfect moment. We're on the boat, the sunset, it's like 9 p.m. and they're like, let's go eat, let's get food. They go on a boat, park it on the dock, we go and eat at the sweetest, cutest little restaurant that's like right there on the water. You know, he has me sit right next to him, is making sure I can eat all of the food, got us bottles of wine, is holding my hand, pulling me in. You know, his other friend that's right next to me is like looking at us, and he's like, you are so, oh my god, guys, like, da-da-da. And I'm just like, haha, whatever, I'm having fun. Mind you, I had met another guy the night before who was also like fucking swooning me. So I was just like, this is just how it goes. I love Italy. Whatever. We're having the best time. He is so about me. He wants us to keep hanging out all night. They then wanted to go out with us. It's probably like 11 o'clock at night at this point. I think we left our place like in the afternoon. We were there for so long. And I was like, no, we have to get back. We had other stuff planned. Whatever. We end up staying. We end up being on the boat until midnight. The train, forget our other plans. The train is long gone. We are going to miss it. It is what it is. While we're taking the boat ride back, which is like 20, 30 minutes, I don't know. It's just him and I. He grabs me. We go to the back of the boat and we are just talking. I mean, as we had been all night, but just talking about who we were, our past, our relationships, you know, being cheated on, or what he had done, or what's happened to me. Just like these really real, raw, normal, but kind conversations. Just getting to know each other. He is all about me. I've never had a man be more obsessed with me than this man was, telling me how the moment he saw my picture that like I was just like his type, and my eyes and my hair, and how I'm exactly the kind of girl that he wants, and my height is perfect, and my this is perfect, and your smile and this and that, just like saying such kind things. And usually I'd be like, oh, you're love bombing me, but I was like, oh, he's an Italian man, like they're just really romantic and sweet, and like he's obsessed. Again, I need to stop thinking that men are just obsessed with me. They're love bombing. I've learned my lesson. But to the point, it's amazing. We're kissing, we're this, we're that. He's being so kind to me. He's saying, when can I see you again? And we were leaving to go to Rome the next day, which was like 6 hours from him. And he's like, you're worth it. I'll go and make the drive. Like, I want to see you. I need to see you again. Like, I've never had this like feeling to like see someone again. And I was like, no. I was like, we'll figure out a time that you can see me again. Like, I was like, this man isn't gonna ever try. Anyways, it's past midnight. The train that we needed to catch is long gone. You know, he drives us back to the train station. He's all about me the whole time. My two girlfriends are like, oh my god, Savannah, like, holy shit. And I was like, haha, whatever. Still, I'm not believing it. I'm not buying it. I'm just like, he does this to everyone. Should have listened to my gut. He takes us to the train station. You know, he then gets my number. He saves my number under Savannah Wifey. And I was like, okay, whatever. On that boat, he brought up his ex, and we were talking about it, and you know how she's with someone now or married. I don't know. Literally, I have all of this as like video fucking proof, because we were taking so much videos and pictures and stuff. But he's literally like, yeah, let's go to that restaurant and I'm gonna show her my new wife. And like, even his guy friends were like, whoa, and literally talking about like, you're my new wifey, this and that. Now, honestly, saying it back in retrospect, sounded like a red flag. But in the moment, it just was like very cutesy, very funny. And he was very much like, no, girl, there's something about you. You're special. And, you know, he would then be like, I'm kidding. Like, I know you're not my wife, but like, you're exactly what I've been looking for. And I was like, haha, sure, whatever. Point being, he was not hiding the fact that he was obsessed with me. His friends were there to see it. Everyone was there to see it. It was just like, okay, whatever, this is fun. We go on the boat, or we go on the train, whatever. We say our goodbyes, and he was like, I have to see you again. I need to. And I was like, yeah, we'll see, whatever. We then are texting the next couple of days. He is doing nothing but being so kind and so sweet. And, you know, we're just having normal, good conversation. I'm talking to him all day on my trip. A couple of days later, I end up going to Pisa, and it was my last night. And we had gone there because that's where we were going to fly out of. I had told him that that was where I was going to be like the day or two before. And he goes, okay, you're worth it. I'm going up there. It was like an hour and a half, 2-hour drive. I don't know. He was like, can I please be so lucky to like take you out on your last night in Italy? Like, I need to see you. Sure. So he goes, he drives the 2 hours. He picks me up from my hotel. He picks up my girlfriends. He takes them to the town. And then he goes, I have a whole date night planned for us. Let's go. We go, we have drinks before dinner, we're sitting there, we're talking, we are laughing, and it's like us finally having a one-on-one date, and he's just like, I feel so comfortable with you, like, this is so nice, I usually don't feel like this, and we're just like being our true selves. Him and I are both Virgos. I've never met a male Virgo, and now I hope to never meet another male Virgo again, but it was just like and I can still say this confidently, like, we just clicked, like, it just felt right. We're laughing, like it I don't know what else to say other than it just worked. Like, our personalities just meshed perfectly, and it felt so comfortable. And I'm like, oh, is this what the people talk about when they say, like, when you know, like, it just was. So we had drinks, it was cute, it was fun, we're joking, we're laughing. Then we go to dinner, and, you know, on that date, again, it just felt normal. Like, I've been on many first dates before. I've been on many first dates where men love bomb me and other situations, but it was just like the conversation with him was so, it's funny I use this word now because it wasn't real, but that date, it just felt so real. We were talking about our future, our goals, past relationships, trust issues, which we'll get into that later. That very first day, I talked about my trust issues and why I had them in relationships, and trauma from my childhood, and why I get them from my family, and, you know, just all these things. And sitting there for hours just talking and going back and forth, and how he was saying how, like, wow, you're really like everything that I have always like wanted in a woman. He's like, I know I don't really like know you, but just like you talking about your goals in life and your this and your drive and your lifestyle, he's like, that is amazing. Like, you're such a strong woman, you do so much, you're ambitious. And I was like, yeah, like, that's me, you know what I mean? Asking me, how many children would you want? And so crazy to look back and think of this, but whatever. Point being, we have that date, it's amazing. Then we go from that to him then telling me, I don't want it to come off weird, but I know that you have a really early flight in the morning. I had to like be at the airport by like 7 a.m. or something. And he was like, and I just want to spend every second that I can with you. So I booked myself a hotel room at the hotel that you're staying at. And he was like, you don't have to stay with me, but I just want to let you know because I want to at least take you and drive you to the airport tomorrow morning. And at this point, I'm like, oh my God, I'm in love. I love this man. Are you kidding me? And I was like, didn't believe him. Sure enough, he did. So after dinner, we had to go get him checked in. He had to get a key. You know, then we go in the hotel room for a second. And then I was like, wait, no, like, I want to go see the Leaning Tower. And so he's like, sure, of course. Like, so respectful, so kind. Everything was nothing but green flags. We go to the Leaning Tower. We take cute videos and pictures of us. And we're like, he's spinning me around. It's this whole, once again, romantic, sweet moment. Didn't feel love bomby because he wasn't sitting there being like, I love you. We were just like, wow, this just feels so good and so nice. We do that. We are talking more. It was just like the most romantic, sweetest, simplest first date of my life. And then we go from that and taking pictures and being all cutesy. Like, who the fuck is doing that on their first date? Like, it's just felt normal. And then we go from that. It's probably like midnight at this point. This date has been going on for like 6 hours. Then we go and get wine to like end our night. And we're sitting there, we're drinking our wine. He's just like staring at me. And the way that this man would look at me, I wish I could show you guys photos, but I can't because then I would be showing his face and I'm not mean. So, but even since the very first day I met him, like I have photos and it's just like that man, you had the look of fucking love, which is so insane. But anyways, we're at the final place of our date and I'm drinking my wine and he's just looking at me and he was like, this has to be one of the top 3 best dates of my life. And I was like, oh, top 3. And he goes, actually, I take that back. I was trying to sound cool. Top 1. He goes, this is truly the best first date I've ever had. Now looking back, he probably has said that to every girl, but it worked on me and I felt the same and I felt that he was sincere. And I was like, yeah, it really is such like a beautiful first date. And then we sit there for another hour or so and talking about, he goes into his past relationships and this and that. And again, we're just being open. We're being honest. We're having a great time. Then the restaurant closes and then we go back to the hotel. Obviously, one thing leads to another. Bada bing, bada boom. You get the point. We cuddle, we sleep. He sets an alarm for the morning to make sure like I get up early. And again, another thing where I was like, oh, this just feels right is I am a person where I feel very uncomfortable sleeping to someone else, especially a man that I just met once. Like that sounds crazy. And he had said the same thing, but we both like fell asleep and we cuddled the entire night. Like I slept in this man's arms the entire night. I woke up in his arms and even he was like, wow, like I just fell right asleep. Like that's crazy that I felt comfortable enough to do that with you. And I was like, yeah, crazy. Everything is crazy. But whatever. He sets an alarm. We wake up. Once again, he's not complaining. He's not nothing. We got probably 3 hours of sleep, if that. He's like, okay, go get your bags. I'll put them in my car. Like, I'll follow your guys' car behind you because he has like a little Mini Cooper, so he couldn't fit us all in. And whatever, the girls end up going to SUV. I'm following them behind in a car with him, and he's just talking about how like, wow, this has really been so amazing, and like I need to see you again. Like I've never been to America, but like now I want to figure it out, and I want to figure it out so I can go and see you, and just like all this stuff. And I'm like, sure, okay, like yeah, right. And yeah, we're just cuddled up, like we're sad, we're like holding hands. I'm like, well, this fucking sucks. He takes me to the airport, drops me off. We have like this long moment of talking and him being like, I'm never gonna forget you. I know that this isn't the last time I see you. I'm gonna work so hard to like figure out a way to get to you, and pouring his heart out. And I'm eating up every fucking second of it and believing it. And yeah, he was like, thank you for such a beautiful moment, Savannah. Like this has been amazing. I'm never gonna forget you. And I know I'm going to see you again. And thank you for changing my life, because one way or another, like I never cared to try and actually get to America. And now I will because of you. And it was this whole beautiful moment. Like we hugged goodbye and I left and I like teared. I teared up and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, oh, okay. Like I clearly have a connection to this man that like my body is having a fucking reaction to. It is what it is. I will probably never see this man again. He said like, I've been in long distance relationships before. Like I'll keep in touch with you. We can do FaceTime. We can talk. Like I still want to talk to you and get to know you more. Like you're such a special person. And I'm like, okay, sure. Sure enough, he kept his word. From that day, from the moment I matched with him on Hinge until 2 days ago, I had talked to that man every single day of my life. Hours and hours and FaceTimes. And if you go in our WhatsApp, you would see that we have over 1,000 videos and pictures sent within the last 3 months. Like it just became so real, which is again funny to now look at it. But yeah, before I even got on that flight, he was texting me saying like, you truly are such a beautiful person, and one day if I have kids and if I'm not lucky enough to have them with you, just know like I will tell my children about you. Which now looking back, I'm like, oh, that was love bombing. But I was like, oh, he's a romantic Italian man, and like of course. But you know what I mean? Just saying these things that, but then he would like bring it down to reality, and he'd be like, I know I just met you, but like this is a crazy feeling. I've never felt like this. Like he did love bomb me in a way where he would like say something up here, but then match it with like coming back down and being like, but I know. And like, so it would make it seem normal, which I've never had. You know, it's like usually when I'm love bombing, like the other guy I met there in Italy who was up here just being like, I want to give you your dream life, I want to do everything, blah, 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 and like never acknowledging that what he was saying was insane. Then I was just like, oh, that's love bombing. But Italian man would like say these things, but then acknowledge that it was crazy. So I was like, okay, you're aware. Anyways, sending me all these texts before I even get on my flight about how he will always remember me, how that was the most beautiful moment of this and that. And I'm just like, wow, okay. I land in LA and I've talked to him ever since. He FaceTimed me, he called me. Like, it was all, once again, him doing it and leading it. You know, a week into us talking when I was back in LA, he was like, okay. He was like, I hope you don't have Hinge anymore because, like, you don't need it. Like, it was always him being like, okay, it's just you and I. Okay, this and okay, that. And then obviously, like, time went on. We talked about like a month into it. We talked about being exclusive. He told me that he stopped talking to any other girl, that, you know, we were planning a trip for him to come out here to LA. We were very clear on the agreement that we were loyal to each other, that we were exclusive, that we weren't talking to anyone else, and that we were going to see each other and figure this out. And then it just grew from there. And it was genuinely such a like beautiful and pure, like, we would voice memo all day every day. Like, I was waking up to at least like 4 pictures of him because, you know, the time difference, he was 9 hours ahead of me. So when I would wake up, it would be like afternoon, 4 p.m. like his day was going down. So, you know, I'd at least every morning, I knew I would wake up to at least 4 photos of him updating me on his day, 3 voice memos. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like the effort was there. He made this plan of like, okay, let's each send something to each other each month until we get to be reunited with each other. Like, he was so in it, and that's why I believed it, and that's why I felt it. And, you know, just we would always talk about, wow, how are we still having such a strong connection, and all we can do is communicate, like all we have is texting and calling. And, you know, he would always be like, this is so crazy. I've never felt such a strong connection to someone that lives thousands and thousands of miles away. Anyways, you guys get the point. I'm not going to go into every little thing that he's ever said to me because it is months worth and laundry list long. And, you know, we went through a lot of hardships within that. I had some like really big health scares. He had some stuff happen. And it's just like everything that we would go through just was bringing us closer and closer and closer, and made it seem more and more logical that we had such strong feelings for each other, because it's just like we kept showing up for each other. And I was like, that's what love is. Like, that's what this is. And, you know, he was there through like some really hard times for me, and I think vice versa. I try to be there for him through stuff, and he tried to get his card to come out here. It got denied, and it's like I helped him through that. He then was like, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to go to the embassy. Took like a 3-hour train, spent hundreds of dollars on it, you know, had these meetings. Was like, I think that's where it gets confusing, because it's like his words were up here and people are like, oh, well, you know, trust a man by his actions, not his words. Well, bitch, his actions were up here. Like, he was spending hundreds of dollars on me, you know, trying to get his visa, trying to get stuff fixed. He was spending all his time. Like, he was showing up again and again and being so honest. And anytime I'd bring up stuff, like, we would have such vulnerable conversations and just like all these things where I'm like, wow, we're growing, like, and we're growing as a couple, and we're putting in the work, and it's crazy that we feel this way and we still feel it from this far apart. It was months of that, and you can guess that in between that time, he told me he loved me. He said that I was his soulmate. He said that he's never felt like this for anyone. He, you know, would open up about how he had exes that would, you know, only be a train ride away, but like, he still never gave this much effort, and how there's something different about me. Like, I can go on, and I have the screenshots of the things he would say to me and the stuff that he would send to me. That's the thing about a long distance relationship, buddy. You can't really lie about it because I have everything in writing. Like, I have all the receipts, so, which that'll play into part 2 and as the story goes on, but it's like, you can't really say that I'm making it up because I have it right here. Your words, like you telling me. And I get that, like, typing out something is one thing, but it's like you were actively doing the actions to also back that up, like heavy, like more than me. I wasn't spending all this money. I wasn't having to go to the embassy. I wasn't getting my stuff declined. Like, that was all you. There was a reason why I was believing you. And, every time he would go out, because as he says, in Italy, we go out, summer, we go out every night. Like, this shit was testing me like no other. Like, I was like, okay, my trust issues are being tested. This man goes out. He lives in a place where there's thousands of tourists, and they're all beautiful, and like, that's how he met me. I was a tourist, and like, you know what I mean, just putting full faith in him, going out every night, getting drunk, doing this, doing that, meeting all these people. Like, he's a very outgoing person, he's a good looking guy. And I was just like, okay, because every single time he would go out, you know what I would get while he was out? I'd get updates, I'd get voice memos, I'd get voice memos from the club where he was like, baby, can you hear me? Like, updating me like no man has ever updated me before, sending videos, telling me who he's with, sending pictures, play-by-play. Like, I had no reason not to trust him. And then would, FaceTime me on his way back home, call me on his way back home. Like, the communication was there. That you can't say was lacking. And it just kept growing. We would have our FaceTimes, we would have this, we would have that. We get to this hurdle where he got denied, right? His fucking card, I don't even know what it's called, but like this easier access to come to America. So I was like, okay, we got to apply to get your visa. And then we had to wait a month to see what it was going to be. And this whole time, we're like still planning like he's going to come to America. We're trying to figure it out. We are falling more and more for each other. We're getting to know each other more and more. And I like that's what I look back on, because, people have been like, oh, you didn't know each other. Oh, like, you can't say that was love. It's like, have you ever had it where that's the only thing that you had was just communication? So you just learned so much about each other, and that's all you had to grow on. And I was like, and if anything, that was like the purest form of getting to know someone, because you weren't liking me for my body. You weren't liking me for what I could do for you. You weren't liking me because I was there in person and can make you not feel lonely. Like, you were liking me for me, because that's all you had to go off of, is talking to me and getting to know me and seeing my life. That takes a lot of effort. I don't want to be on my phone all day. And he would say the same thing too. He'd be like, I hate texting. I hate being on my phone. But for you, I have never once been bored of updating you. And I've never not been excited to see your name on my phone. So it's like, to me, it was something extra special. I mean, and to him too, that's exactly what he said. And it was just like, anytime we would say something, we were aligned. Always aligned. And that was like our catchphrase to each other. We'd always be like, same boat, same direction. And had challenges that were thrown at us and could have easily been like, okay, I'm just not going to reply to you anymore. This is hard. And we never did. We never fucking did. Silly me for thinking that meant that we were something. And mind you, during all of this, like, he would call me his girlfriend and then text me and be like, I know I haven't asked you yet. I'm waiting to ask you in LA. But just know that, like, in my eyes, I'm taken, and in your eyes, like, look at it as you have a boyfriend. Literally word for word, could show you the fucking text. Like, none of this was made up. It wasn't me just being like, well, la-di-da-di-da, I think he likes me. I'm going to act like I'm his girlfriend. Like, no, this shit was written out, could not be more clear. As if we are in a relationship, but we were also, once again, he'd play it up as realistic, because he'd be like, well, I know we only had 2 dates, even though I'm sure of my feelings. I know I have to wait to see you again to ask you out in person. So that's what this whole trip was going to be. We wait a month. We're both so anxious about what his results are going to be on if his visa gets accepted or not. He had to go have a meeting in person. He spent hundreds of dollars. He took that train. It was this whole thing. And, within this time frame, I had sent him a package, because he made up that cute little thing of like, you send me something, I'll send you something. And what I sent him was very simple. I sent him a tote. I sent him like 4 pictures of us printed out, and I sent him a letter. And that man got teary-eyed, recorded himself opening it, and it was like the cutest, sweetest thing. He's like tearing up as he's reading my letter, and he's looking in the camera, and he's saying how he's never felt like this before, and he was like, wow, this is the best gift I've ever received. And I'm like, dude, it's pictures in a letter, but okay, like, this man is in love with me. So obsessed with all of it. Like, and I remember showing some of my friends the video, and they're like, wow, this man is so in love with you. Like, look at how he is at just getting a letter from you. And I was like, yeah, okay, maybe I'll start believing that this is real. Because this whole time I was in my head, and I was kind of like, I don't know. Whatever. The time comes, his visa. It gets denied. That's a whole thing. He calls me. He's like almost in tears. He doesn't know what to do. And again, at this moment, we could have decided to just end it and go our separate ways. But nope, he was like, I need to figure out a way that I'm going to see you. So we make up a plan. We figure something out, and we decided, let's go to Mexico. Let's go to Mexico. We'll figure it out. And if Mexico goes well, when you go back to Italy, we'll get immigration lawyers and we'll figure this the fuck out. There's a way. And so he said, you're right. I'm not going to worry about lawyers. I just want to be excited about this trip. This trip would be like 4 weeks away. And we planned the trip. We find flights. We're FaceTiming. We're figuring it out. He tells me, don't worry about anything. Like, just get the flight. I feel so bad you have to pay for your flight because, he was going to fly to me. And he was like, you get the flight and I will pay for everything else and do everything else. And he did. He got the hotel. He rented the car. He picked the location. He picked the first location, decided that location wasn't good enough. So then we decided to go to Tulum, and everything was normal. He was doing it all. Again, his actions. He was like, don't even bring your wallet. This is all on me. Hyping it up, each day, how he can't wait to see me, how this is going to be so beautiful, we're going to make memories that last a lifetime. My birthday happened in September. I got the longest love letter that I've ever received from a man, and he took a picture of it, sent it to me. In that love letter, talking about how the stars aligned, and he can't believe that from 3 months ago on the boat that has led us to here, and we're going to go to Mexico and we're going to make these memories and everything is going to be beautiful, and that it's been hard but it's been worth it, and there's no one else that he would do it for, and he's never once gotten bored. All these things. It's actually insane, because then I find out what he had been doing that whole time. So, cut to the chase. It's the week before our trip, or it's the week of our trip. He was going to fly out there a day before just so he can get settled, jet lag, all of that. And it's a Tuesday or something. Mind you, I talk to this man every hour until he has to go to bed, and he will stay up till 3 a.m. just to talk to me. We're talking, everything's normal. Mind you, the week of my trip, anxiety skyrockets. I can't eat. I feel sick. I feel like I'm going to faint. I'm just what is going on? And everyone around me, he's a good guy. I was I have a bad gut feeling. I would go on his Instagram, and I saw that his following went up. I would on the thing, it will pop up suggested, and I would click on them. I would see the girls, and I'd be no, that's completely not his type. That I don't have to worry about her. You know what I mean? Self-soothing. And even my therapist was you're just not used to healthy love, and you're scared to go here and to fall for him, and it's just because you're used to someone being toxic. Everyone convinced me, and not that I'm mad or anything, we had no reason to think otherwise, but everyone convinced me that you're right, this is fine, this is good, I'm just not used to healthy love. That Tuesday comes, he disappears for 9 hours. Not online, not anything. On WhatsApp, you can see the last time they were on there. And I'm what? Because anytime he had plans, he would tell me, hey, babe, I'm going to go do this, this, and this. Disappears. I'm having horrible anxiety all day. I'm did he get hurt? Did he get in a car crash? Did he die? He was so busy because his birthday was that week. He was planning this trip. He had never done such a long flight. He was figuring that out. I was oh my God, whatever. But as I was the whole time, the chill girl, I didn't reach out. I didn't blow up his phone. I get a text at 6 p.m. my time. So it's late as hell over there. Being baby, my baby, I'm so sorry. I was with my friends all day. I feel so guilty. Remember that. I feel so guilty. They surprised me and took me wine tasting, and these friends that aren't really my friends, but they're part of my group, just bullshit. Saying how he's been so busy. I'm home drunk now. I'm safe. I'm so sorry. Love you. I then reply, oh, that's where you were all day? The fuck? We get into it. He, sends me a 6-minute voice memo. That was so disrespectful. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I didn't let you know what I was doing. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm okay, whatever. Man is just doing a lot right now. We're about to go on our trip. And everything's normal. He's saying how much he respects me, how much he misses me. He said, love you, all these things. Nothing is weird. It's the day of his birthday. And that day was the day before. And then it went into the day of his birthday. Again, he's 9 hours ahead. So whatever. And I'm still pissed at him. And I was well, I was going to FaceTime you at midnight for your birthday, but I don't want you to worry about being on your phone. So you do you. Let me know when I can call you. He goes, no, baby, please call me. I want to hear from you right at midnight for my birthday. Okay, fine. It's 3 p.m. my time. I call him. I FaceTime him. He takes it. All his friends are Savannah, hi. He goes out of the room. He takes the phone call, talks about how he can't wait to see me, how he's so tired, whatever. It was all normal. Telling me how cute I look, being baby, oh my God, I miss you. I can't wait to see you in a couple days. which that's just like so fucked up to think about now. And then I don't hear from him for the rest of the night. Again, red flag, because you just did that the other day and said you wouldn't again. So I text him. I'm like, did you get home okay? Don't hear from him the rest of the night. The next morning, sorry baby, I plugged my phone in and I fell asleep. I think you guys can see where the fuck this is going, and that these little two incidences weren't just that. But I thought, no, that would be insane that he was doing something or with another woman, because he literally flies 14 hours to see me today. He's never flown international. He is doing all of this for me. There's no way he would, like, that crossed my mind, but I immediately was like, no, that would be insane. It was insane. So we're talking all day, whatever, it's normal. He's getting ready for the flight. Mind you, he has to drive 3 hours to Milan to then get on a 14-hour flight. So when any woman think, okay, this man is down bad for me and he's not doing anything bad, because even while we were talking and he got the flight, it had always been a common thing for me to be like, Italian men, they're known for doing this, and telling him. I was always honest with my trust issues or with the stereotypes, and he would always make me feel so much better. And he would say, like, after he got his flights, he's like, baby, I hope you now know that, like, clearly I am into you and only want you. Would tell me all the time how he said no to all the other girls. This was a common thing. I was reassured weekly about this. And he was like, baby, I got my ticket to you. I just spent $900 on the ticket. And he was like, I hope you know now, like, clearly I'm only about you. He was like, because if I was still entertaining other women, that would be insane. Words from his mouth. And I was like, it would be. Okay, you're right. So whatever. We get to the day. He does the long drive. He calls me during the drive because he's falling asleep. He's powering through. He gets to Mexico. It's this whole beautiful moment. I get there the day later. He drives an hour and a half to the airport to pick me up. It was like I had just seen him last week. Like, once again, I was like, oh, okay, you can't deny this feeling. And from both of us, like, he ran up from behind me, he surprised me, he grabbed me, he hugged me, and it was just instantly like we were back together. We had an hour and a half drive home, and there was not a moment where it was like immediately holding each other's hands, couldn't stop kissing me, couldn't stop touching me and being like, I can't believe you're real, I can't believe you're here, oh my God, I missed you so much. It was great. It was great. And I was like, instantly my anxiety went away, my worries went away, until they didn't. And I noticed he was like saying random weird things. Like, we were walking that first night after dinner and we saw a couple where like the girl was tall and the guy was shorter. And he randomly was like, I don't like that. He's like, I would never be with a girl that was taller than me. I wouldn't like that. I don't feel like I can protect her. And just like making sure to make random things known about women and telling me certain things. We go out, we get stopped by the police, they take all our money, they take all of his money in cash. He like had planned for us to go to this like really nice beach club, and I was just like, oh great, like this is off to a horrible start. They take all our money, I end up having to pay with my card for the whole night for like drinks and stuff because they took all his cash. And you know what, it was fine. We were having the best time. You know, I was in a really pissed off mood. I was like, fuck this, fuck the police, like where the fuck are we? I hate this, I don't want to be here. And he was just like, baby, we're here with each other, like let's just take a deep breath, let's enjoy each other, let's have fun. And we did. And I was like, okay, green flag, like man's is just wanting to make the most out of it. We go, we're on the dance floor, we're having a great time, we can't keep our hands off of each other, you know. He's like, oh my God, babe, like I can't even look at you or touch you, I get too excited. We go to the corner, we're making out, like it is this whole beautiful, like these people are in love moment. Like people were stopping us to ask where he was from, where I was from, telling me how we look so amazing together. Like I was like, wow, okay, this could be our life. Like, this feels so right. This feels good. We go back to the apartment. Like, it's this whole beautiful moment. You can guess, like, where it all goes. And then I wake up in the morning and I have some of the worst anxiety I've ever had. And I don't know why. I didn't see anything on his phone. Nothing had happened. I just felt so uneasy. So uneasy. Like, to the point I couldn't eat. Like, that morning, he was, like, cutting me food and forcing me to eat because my anxiety was so bad out of nowhere. And mind you, it had been all week, and then I saw him and it went away, and then I woke up and it was back like nothing before. And we're sitting there, he's scrolling through his phone, he's looking through his photos, and I see like shirtless pictures of him in our hotel. And I'm like, well, that's weird. He didn't send those to me. And I say that. I was like, who are you taking these for? Like, kind of making a joke about it. He was like, what? Maybe. Like, and it kind of just, like, gets left away. My first thought in my mind is, he is taking these pictures and sending them to someone else. Why would a man just randomly taking shirtless photos in a hotel with the girl that he's with if he's not taking them for her? Immediate feeling that like just comes, and I'm just like, Savannah, I'm texting my friends. I'm like, tell me I'm crazy. Why am I like, this man just spent thousands of dollars. He surprised me with this beautiful place. Like, I didn't know where we were staying. It was this whole thing. It was gorgeous. And they're like, well, just say something. Like, if you're going to be anxious, just say something. And anytime you've said something, he's always reassured you, and it's going to be okay. And I'm to the point where I am almost in tears because I feel so guilty for thinking anything bad of him while we're on this amazing trip that he planned and paid everything for. But he notices that I don't feel right, whatever. He asks me, he's digging. I tell him. I'm at this point sobbing because I feel so guilty and I feel crazy. He's wiping my tears and I'm just like, I'm sorry. I don't know why I can't just trust you. I don't know why I can't just believe, like, look at what you're doing. But I see that and I think that you're sending it to another girl. Immediately, he goes, baby, oh my God, no, I feel so bad that that's what you've been feeling. That's why you're anxious. Like, says all the right things, says how it's only me, says, look, baby, like where we're at, what I've done for you, it's you. No, I'm not sending it to anyone. I was taking them so that when we aren't together anymore, I can send them to you and be like, look at all these moments. Like, remember when you were in the other room and I took this picture? And he was telling me, like, I took some in the bathroom mirror last night. He's like, it's just because I'm in a new place. Like, I've never been here and I'm excited and I feel good and I want to send these to you after. Like, always just had the right things to fucking say, wiping my tears. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Every man I've ever trusted has just like left me or cheated on me. And he was like, baby, everyone's hurt you and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, psychopath energy to like sit there and look at me in the eyes while I'm saying all this and then to do the things that he did. Wipes my tears. It's this whole deep talk. He was like, never be scared to be vulnerable in front of me. Never be scared to tell me. If some guy tells you that that's too much, then they're the wrong guy for you and it's not too much for me. I'll give you all the reassurance you ever want. Well, okay, whatever. Other things happen on the trip. More days go on. You know, I see something else on his phone. I bring it up. It's something that he told me that he didn't have, but he did. And then he tried to tell me I never said that. So once again, our relationship, buddy, is all through text, so I can look it up. He tells me, like, search the word and find where I say that. I search the word. There it is. Him saying that he's never done that. And he immediately was like, oh. And I was like, yeah. I was like, babe, don't ever fuck with me. This was like such foreshadowing because it was the day before everything went down. But I literally go, the truth always comes out. I said, don't ever lie to me. Don't try to lie to me and don't try to play me. I'm a Latina and I'm a Virgo. The worst fucking combo that you want to mess with. And he goes, no, I know. As a Virgo, he was like, that's why I'm always honest. That's why I'm truthful. He's like, I really didn't think I lied. I'm sorry. I misspoke. Whatever. And he was like, I was like, yeah, people say that they never want to be on my bad side. And I was like, so just let that be known. I was like, I'm a lot of things, but the one thing I'm not is a liar. And the one thing I do is remember everything. And he was like, okay. We have a beautiful night. We exchange birthday gifts because we obviously both had birthdays in September. He gives me the sweetest, thoughtful thing. Our gifts are like so similar. We both got each other like evil eye, like jewelry, which was really weird and we didn't know. And we both got each other like really thoughtful little sentimental gifts. And then we both got each other like, he got me like anti-aging, really fancy, nice cream. And I got him like these, like he kept being like, okay, universe, I get it. I'm seeing the signs. I get it. Like we're similar. We're meant to be. We have a beautiful night. We played the game. We're not really strangers. Things come up. We have all these moments of talking. He brings up how he's confused in one of the cards. And I go, oh, confused? Like, what do you mean? He was like, no, not confused about you, just confused about, like, what direction I see my life going. Like, will I be able to go to America? Like, which direction is it going to go? I'm not confused about you or our connection. I'm just confused about next steps. And that's why this trip is so important. And I was like, fair. Yeah, fair enough. You know, we have hours of talking and stuff. And, you know, after he says, thank you for letting me tell you all that, I feel so much better. I was so in my head about, like, telling you that, but now I feel so clear. This game has brought me so much clarity about everything. You know, we go upstairs, we have a beautiful moment. He tells me how he gets like this every time right before a relationship. So he's like, if anything, it's a good thing that I'm like this because it means that like I'm taking this seriously. And you know, I know relationships are really serious, especially ours because it's long distance and like there's a lot more pressure and a lot more that we have to figure out. He's like, so please don't get in your head. Great. We have a beautiful night. It's amazing. We wake up the next morning. We talk more about it. He says, if I asked you to be my wife on this trip, what would you say? And I said, well, you'd have to ask me to officially be your girlfriend first. And he was like, I know. But like saying all this stuff, he's like, but then we could be together. Like, obviously, I don't think he was 100% serious, but also that was the common conversation with him and I of marriage and what our future would look like and where we would want to live. Like, these were all real things that we were talking about, because we were also like, we can't be fucking around if this is long distance and we're putting this much money and time and effort into it. So it also wasn't the first time that we had talked about that. But I was like, no, babe, you can't ask me to be your wife on this trip. Like, that would be insane. It asks me to cuddle, is literally tracing his finger around my face, looking at me like the most sincere, beautiful moment, grabs me, and for the first time on the whole trip in person, tells me, love you, baby. And then guess what happened that night? And this is exactly why it has to be 2 parts, but I will leave you with this. That night, after all of that, after all that reassurance, after all the wiping of tears, after 3 months, after all that we had gone and been through and done, which this is obviously just 10% of that, there's clearly so much more. We are making dinner together. We're going to watch one of his favorite films. He's making me dinner. We're having a beautiful moment. We're like humming to each other and like holding each other and dancing in the kitchen as he's making food. He wants to go smoke a cigarette, so he goes by the window. He's on his phone. I'm sitting there. I'm watching the pasta. I have wine in my glass. Adele is playing. I'm like singing Adele. I'm like in my own fucking world. He's saying mine. He's like, baby, baby. I turn around. The man is like full on just recording me and like soaking up the moment. And I got scared. I was like, whoa. And he was like, no, let's do the video again. Let's do the video again. Like, look back at me, but like, don't be so surprised. Like, look back and smile instead of be surprised. Doing this whole thing, he's smiling at his phone. He takes this video of me. We redo it. I turn around. He comes up to me. He shows me the video. He's like, baby, you're so beautiful, so cute. Kisses his fucking phone screen and is like, I love it, I love it, I love it. And 2 minutes later, my world got flipped upside down. He's on his phone and he's saying, my God, my story, like the story I posted today, the photo looks so unreal. And I'm thinking in my fucking pea brain, I haven't seen you post one goddamn story on this whole trip, which I thought was weird because you kept saying you were going to post stories. And he goes, the story that I posted. And I go, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen anything. In that moment, you can see the fucking light switch turn the fuck on. And he goes, oh, I don't know. Maybe it just like went away. And I go, no. I go, wait, show me? He shows me the story, and I'm like, why can't I see it? I search his name on my phone. No story is clickable. And I go, immediately, the voice starts shaking. And I go, okay. And he goes, I don't know, they go away in 24 hours. No fucking shit. I say, but I'm looking at the story on your phone, so it hasn't gone away, so why can't I see anything? He goes, I don't know. And like is trying to distract me. And I said, did you block me? And he goes, no, I didn't block you. And like goes to who he has blocked, which was a list of girls. So like also who are those women? But I was like, no, not block me from your page. I'm on your page. I know I'm not blocked. I said, I mean your stories. Mind you, his phone is all in Italian. I don't know what the fuck any of the buttons are saying. So I'm going on mine frantically because I'm like, we fucking have something right here. And I'm like trying to figure out which button means hidden, like whatever, the story settings. And I was like, did you hide me from your stories? He's like, I don't even know what that is. What do you mean? I figure it out. I'm fucking sitting there clicking the buttons. I was like, that button. He clicks it. And what do you know? Me, my other profile, and my only friend that follows him that he met, all hidden from his story. Immediately, his hand is like fucking shaking. And I go, why am I hidden? He goes, I don't know. That's still lying. It is actually insane to look back and think about the way that men will lie while the fucking proof is in front of your fucking face. He goes, I don't know. I didn't even know that was a thing. You didn't know that was a thing, but the 3 of us are all hidden. And he's like clicking. And I go, what were you trying to hide from me on your story? He goes, nothing. I've been posting about the trip with you and I. I go to your story archives right now. At this point, I'm practically like taking his phone. And I hit it, and he goes, story archives, and goes to it from his birthday. I watch the story with his arm around another woman, tall blonde girl, everything he told me he does not like. They are singing, they are playing karaoke, and I go, who is that? Still lies. Tells me that is just a friend, no one to worry about. That's my friend. The next video is from a girl that he also had slept with that is also just his friend now. She posted something. He reposted that. And then the next one is everyone singing happy birthday to him and him being right there next to the girl that is just his friend. That is what he hid from me. Now you can obviously guess where this story goes. that this was not just a friend, and that night took such a spiral. And I will leave it at that because this episode is already an hour long, but we can clearly see where part 2 is going to pick up. And if you thought this shit was crazy, it gets crazier and crazier and crazier. And again, he is now blocked on WhatsApp so that he can no longer contact me, but that was clearly not just a friend. And he clearly did some things and then got on a flight the very next day to come and see me. And he was very clearly talking to someone else the whole time, that he was sitting there reassuring me that I was the only one while he told me he loved me and all of that. So, women, our intuition is always right. There was a reason I felt so uneasy the full week. There was a reason I woke up that day feeling really uneasy, and the truth will always come out. I had been searching for it, and funny enough, it was the same girl that I had clicked on her profile a week prior. And I went, oh, okay, I don't have to worry about her. Like, that's all the things he says he's not into. Great, okay, must just be a friend. And the way he thought he was so sneaky with hiding me, hiding my friend, and then he was the dumbass that outed himself by saying, look at my story, and the way that he forgot to unhide me while he was on a 9-day vacation with me and thought that somehow that was never going to come up is beyond me. And obviously he lied to this other girl too, telling her that he was on the trip visiting his friends. So again, we will get all into that next week, because how did he think that he was going to keep up with both lies? I do not know. Eventually someone was going to post him and tag him in something, and the truth was going to come out. But I guess when you think that you can hide each girl from each other, you think that nothing bad will ever happen. So obviously I saw that. I knew it wasn't just a friend. I stormed out. He called me in, and everything went to shit so quick. So quick. We will fill you in on the rest of that story next week. I hope you're on your fucking toes. We can clearly see that it ended with me getting an emergency flight out of there and getting back home, because I'm still supposed to be on that trip. And yes, he is still there, enjoying it and having fun, as he said, gonna have fun on his vacation. So I love that for him. This next episode is about to be very juicy, but you clearly had to know some of the context before and how we met and the story that got us to here. And maybe that'll kind of give you a little inkling of why this is all so hurtful, why this is such a big betrayal, and why this all came as such a shock to me. And yeah, this is a girl that, newsflash, when he went MIA for 9 hours, he was with. When he went MIA the night of his birthday, you can guess what he was doing and who he was with the week that he was coming to see me. And, you know, I will save the details and all that went down and the drama that then happened and followed all of that in next week's episode. Hope you guys are on your fucking toes. I have given all of my friends trust issues now. About 3 of them are in long distance relationships, and I'm sure all of them have already called their boyfriends. I just want to end this little part of the episode by saying, again, I've said it many times in my other episodes, I have the best friends in the world. Obviously, I will get into the details of that and what they did for me on that trip. It is Friday. I'm supposed to be on the vacation still, and they all surprised me with a night, with the girls' night. They were there to pick me up from the airport, and we will get into that next week. I don't really know how to end this episode. This is my life. This is what my episode is. He was well aware of that. He watched the episodes on the other guys that had screwed me over. He had said many things of I could never relate to the kind of man that does that, la-di-da-di-da. But that is just for me to end this episode by saying, I'm not out here to hurt anyone. I'm not out here to seek revenge. The revenge is these people that are involved having to live with themselves. That is the revenge. This is my life. This is something that you signed up for. You know well aware that if you wrong me in my life, or if you give me something that is story time-able, that it will be. You know what I mean? So it's not like I am doing this to hurt people. I am doing this because that is what this is. And that has always been known. And I've always told you guys that I want to be transparent and be honest and tell you these stories. And if this story would have ended differently, I would have told you that. But unfortunately, this is where we are. I would love to say I'm excited. I'm not excited, but we will get into it next week. I will probably film part 2 tomorrow, and we will see how that goes. But thank you guys for listening. Always, always, always listen to your gut. I've clearly learned that time and time again, but now more than ever, it's just so hard because you're like, I don't know what is fear, what is anxiety, and what is my gut. And that's unfortunately what I was in. And I let others tell me other things, him. So there will be a lot of podcasts that come from just this incident, you know? We'll get into anxiety. We'll get into how to deal with this. We'll get into how to know what is your gut. We'll get into how are we going to trust again? How are we going to figure out how to love again? Because I feel very depleted right now. I feel like I can't ever trust someone again. And we'll get into all of that as time goes on. But until then, follow along. Until then, you can follow me at It Is What It Is with Van on Instagram, on TikTok. You can follow me on social media at Savannahmares. I will see you guys next week. And I'm sorry that this episode seems so sad. We'll be okay. We always will. And this is once again another reason why I record it, because I'm so excited for future Savannah to look back a year from now and have this podcast and be able to hopefully fucking laugh at it or find light in it or be able to see how far I've come from this moment to a year from now. Or when I do find my person that is loyal and honest and all the things that I thought he was, when I find the person that actually is that, I will look at this episode and I will be so grateful for the things that didn't work out. And I will be so appreciative of the person that I have that is real standing in front of me. So that is what these episodes are about. This is my life. This is my story. And as long as I am telling the full truth in the story and I'm not making up lies about people and I'm not doing anything wrong, I am allowed to share my side of the story. And like I've always said in another episode when I was telling my story time, if the truth makes you look like an asshole, it probably is just because you're an asshole. I'm not making any of this up. The proof is all there. I can show you the pictures. I can show you the videos. I can show you the texts. None of this is fabricated. It just is what it is. And I'm here to share my stories with you. Until next week for part 2, I will see you guys then. And stay safe out there.